Wolverine is a character that you either build all the way or you don't build at all, and that's the reality of the character. So just when you're approaching Wolverine, that was really good. When you're approaching Wolverine as a character that you want to tier 3, or if you've already tier 3'd him and you want to invest in him, just know that you have to go all the way or don't bother. This is a really good performance here. But yeah, just I want to be very clear, and I want to repeat myself. You have to go all the way with your Wolverine build or don't bother building him at all. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today, Wolverine. This is the 4th uniform in a row that we've covered on this channel since he came to the game in 2017. And I have some good things to say, and I have some not so good things to say. So get ready for another Groundhog Day experience. So yeah, Wolverine entered the Phoenix uniform. Looks really cool. He's got some brand new skills like this one, where he, iframes up and there's this really cool Phoenix picture. He's got Phoenix wings and he leaves this lingering effect, which is dope. He's got this new 3rd skill, counterattack, that does damage even if he doesn't get hit, which is really nice. And if he does get hit, he has a different roar that he does sort of auto-magically. Then you got this 4th skill, long iframe. Again, he grows those Phoenix wings and he flies around, tons of slashes, really cool. And then they augmented his existing 5th skill, which I love. I actually think the skill looks really cool. And they added a bunch of fire and flame effects to it. And now his new tier 3 skill, because they did give him a brand new tier 3 skill, which I was really excited about. It's sort of like his old tier 3 skill, but it's different. And it's got more hits, more animations. They extended the animation and they added a bunch of Phoenix effects to it. It looks really cool. More hits than ever. So why do I sound sarcastic when I'm covering this Wolverine uniform? Well, because unfortunately, or for whatever reason, and you can check out the build here a little bit as I talk, this Wolverine uniform does not move the needle as far as where and in what matter you can use him in. I'm actually not 100% sure that it moves the needle, that it doesn't move the needle anywhere that you don't expect it to, i.e. anywhere outside of PvP, because what we've come to expect from all of these Wolverine reworks since basically this one, and then this one, and then this one, was that they made Wolverine a little bit better for PvP, while other PvP characters got a lot better, right? Jean got steroids better, and then Sentry got released, Immortal Hulk got released, so on, Luke Cage, so on and so forth. So on the one hand, Wolverine has never been PvE meta since back in the day, right? Since 2017. And on the other hand, he never got good enough to catch up to the PvP meta that basically has outpaced him. And I don't think things have changed for the vast majority of players. So that's sort of what the review is about today. It's about understanding that essentially Wolverine is better than ever for PvP, which is cool if you do that sort of thing, but he's not going to be able to keep up in PvE with the likes of existing combat types. And I'm not even talking about Captain America. I'm talking about Shang-Chi. I'm talking about Black Dwarf. So you're talking about not only characters that are much cheaper than Wolverine, right? The fact that he's an Epic Quest character, he costs 1200 CCF versus Shang-Chi being a free-to-play 800 CCF tier 3 and Black Dwarf being a native tier 2 like Wolverine, but he's a transcended. So he only costs 240 CCF or 360 CCF to transcend, right? So you're talking characters that are cheaper than he is. And then in PvP, again, you're talking about characters that are cheaper than him, like Luke Cage and Hulk, Immortal Hulk. So he just gets outclassed. He's basically comes into the game already outclassed by existing characters in both PvE and PvP. And that's really where my video from yesterday was coming from, the rant about character updates just feeling stagnant. There are some things that Wolverine does well. He looks really cool, but I think the devs were just leaning way too much on his popularity as a character, and they didn't really think to balance him and put him on par in PvP with the likes of Luke Cage, with the likes of Hulk, or in PvE with the likes of Shang-Chi and Black Dwarf. If he had kept his 40% damage reduction, or if they had given him an extra like 10-15% chain hit, he could have participated in PvE or PvP, or PvP or PvE respectively, right? but they just decided not to do that. So we're gonna do the standard stage 9 test here. I haven't done this in a while, but we are gonna do this one here. He doesn't need the ignore dodge. He gets 40% ignore dodge on his he gets 40% ignore dodge on his 4th skill, and so we're gonna give him another 3 strikers, so he has 100% ignore dodge. He has a PvP obelisk on right now, just like a guard break invincibility. So this is just a raw damage test. Now, I did have a rage on him before I made this video. However, I'm gonna get stunned here. Yeah, okay, we gotta reset. I did have a rage on him, but I actually took the rage off because it was just so painfully obvious to me that Wolverine cannot keep up with the higher end PvE characters. That I didn't really feel like it was worth wasting players' time to explore that reality. You know what I'm saying? I got stunned again. Okay, we're just gonna rock ahead here with the stun. It's not really that big of a deal. Okay, we're gonna try to proc the counter there. No. Now, a couple things I want to tell you about the build in case you want to make the most out of your Wolverine. You definitely want to do 3 into 6 because the 3rd skill has a damage proc. Oh, I'm gonna get stunned again. No, the 3rd skill has a damage proc for 2 attacks, so you can do 3 into 4 into 5 on your regular rotation. Oh, I didn't dodge the cage. You can do 3 into 4 into 5 on your regular rotation, and then you can do oh, there what I should have done was 3 into 6. So we're actually just gonna let this play out, and then 3 into 6 because you want to pass that damage proc over. It's not a huge damage proc, but it is going to help your damage out a little bit. But this is essentially the rotation. You can try to activate the counter attack with those tentacles, but I don't think it's worth waiting around for. His 5th skill is really long. There's you can pop a little bit of damage, but as you guys can see, just to recap for you guys, if a character is unable at this point for my build, for my account, right? If you guys are new to the channel, or if you haven't watched me cover a tier 3 character or a new uniform lately, this stage 9 null test may seem perfunctory or whatever, but basically, if a character with 22% pierce, if a character cannot get through the first 30 bars, right? If he can't get null down from 60 to 31 in about 1:15, the character is probably not going to be able to keep up with the existing meta. That's really where I've pegged the marker, in between 1 minute and 1:15. And that's what we were seeing from characters like in the last update, or the update before that, Hulkbuster, because Wenwu and Katie couldn't get to tier 3, so we only had Shang-Chi. But like Hulkbuster and Rescue weren't even really around this point. Obviously, here Wolverine is only halfway there, which means theoretically it's going to take him more than 2 minutes to clear stage 9. Now, I'm not saying, listen, there's some silver lining here. For those of you hitting the panic button about Wolverine already, I'm not saying that you can't make Wolverine work for mid-level content, but for those of you that want to really push the envelope, really move the needle, you're going to look at the existing combat characters that I mentioned, Shang-Chi, Black Dwarf, for PvE content, especially, World Boss Ultimate, World Boss Legend type content. Wolverine is just not going to be good enough to keep up. He doesn't even have, he has low fire resistance down for 5 seconds. Here, he doesn't even have all defense down to pair with that for World Boss Ultimate. Now, the one other silver lining, so for World Boss Ultimate and World Boss Legend content, I don't think he's going to be top tier. He's probably like in the 2nd or 3rd tier. But if you want to make him work the best way possible, you're going to want to give him a CTP of Judgment. That's going to be the case for him. I think an energy could maybe work, but I don't think it's really worth it because he's got a lot of hits and a lot of long animations, and you are going to be doing a little bit of canceling. So energy, it's not the worst idea, but I don't think it's the best idea either. So I would personally go with a Judgment because all of his attacks deal fire damage, even his new tier 3 enter the Wolverine. So it's all fire, so Judgment would be great. Judgment would synergize the chain hit that he already has. The only thing missing would be ignore dodge, but he has, like I said, 40% for 5 seconds on his 4th skill. So that's for PvE, regular PvE content. The one other big silver lining is that the big ABX testers have indicated or begun to indicate that Wolverine may be better than Venom for ABX. Now, I don't know if Captain America is also better than Wolverine for ABX, so it may just be moot. Like, oh yeah, Wolverine's better than Venom for ABX, but Captain America is better than Wolverine, so it may not matter. But just keep that in mind. I'm gonna wait until the actual day to really do some testing and make a video on that if possible, because I don't like making a video on the no restriction day. Sometimes things happen and the results don't end up being the same. It's not that long to wait. Oh, actually, it is a while to wait. Anyways, it is a while to wait, but it doesn't matter. The only silver lining for Wolverine in PvE content, well, PvE content that the majority of players are into, is that he may be best now for combat hero with either a rage or some sort of mighty brilliant judgment. But if you're not an ABX player, if you're not a competitive ABX player, you might not care about that. The other thing to note for PvE content is timeline survival. Wolverine is good for timeline survival for 2 reasons. One, he heals himself, which is really important because your character's HP does not get reset after you finish a timeline survival. So if you go and look, I lost my Luna, she's gone until the season resets in 5 days and 12 hours up here at the top. So, you know, having characters that can heal themselves is a big win. The other thing to keep in mind for timeline survival is that Wolverine does check quite a few boxes for the higher tiers of timeline survival. Namely, he has the healing tag, he has the weapons master tag, which does pop up a lot as a requirement, and we'll talk about that more in the timeline survival dedicated video, but just keep that in mind. And then he's also a combat hero, which also pops up as requirements, and he's a mutant, which also pops up as requirements. So if he's pretty good for timeline survival, and he's pretty good for World Boss Ultimate or World Boss Legend content, and he may be best or second best for ABX, what am I really waiting to make content on him about? Well, yeah, the only other thing, which is PvP. Now, I don't think he's the best for PvP. I don't think he's better than Sentry. I don't think he's better than Dr. Doom. He may not even be able to counter Luke Cage reliably, which is another problem. But maybe he's top 10. I don't know. But that's what the rest of the video is going to be. I have 1 Odin's Blessing. I actually have an empty obelisk slot there, or not obelisk, Uru slot there. I guess I could just put another HP Uru right now, but obviously I wanted to put a heal Odin's Blessing. Let's go ahead and make that mythic real quick. But basically, yeah, I do think PvP is probably your best bet. The thing is, you know, like I said, you can make Wolverine, if you're a huge Wolverine fan, you can definitely make it work for him in PvE with either a Judgment or an Energy, or for ABX a Rage. That's definitely possible. But I think you're just not going to get the best bang for your buck either way. So unfortunately, I do think this uniform is a skip for players who are just looking for the most value, because you're not going to find it in Wolverine here in either PvE or PvP. This is more of like a collector's or a diehard fans project, right? Pet project kind of thing. So we've got a cold damage, guard break, invincibility obelisk. Don't ask, it's just an obelisk, it's just a regular obelisk. I just want to show you how he does with a regular obelisk before we go into CTPs and stuff like that, and I give you my recommendations. We got the rolls here for crowd control time, double HP, all defense and physical attack. His options on his uniform are Venom, Jean Grey X-Men Red, old Sharon Rogers, new Iron Fist, and then Sentinel. So pretty good options, to be honest with you. Not too bad here. But yeah, we're basically going to jump right in. I'm rank 404. He's got 94,000 HP. More HP would be better. I don't technically need that that skill cooldown Uru. I should, you know, get rid of it and replace it with a heal Odin's Blessings, but I just don't have any heal Odin's Blessings to give him right now. Just to make things more straightforward, we're going to go ahead with Molecule Man lead, and then I'm just going to swap over or let him die. And enough talking, let's get into it here. We're just going to fish for opponents, and then I'm going to throw on some autoplay, and then I'm going to give you guys some tips on what you can do to really maximize your Wolverine for PvP if that's what you want to do. So we're going to turn off autoplay, let him just croak the first time. Then I'm going to turn it back on and switch over to Wolverine, and let's see what he does here. He gets clobbered, he takes a bunch of damage. Sentry already triggered his heal, and he's dead. Cool. All right. This is what I mean, man. Like, I don't get it. I don't really know what the devs want us to do here with Wolverine. Like, they clearly don't care. I think, okay, I don't think that they don't care. Let me just be more clear. Wolverine, I should have said this at the top of the video. I'll edit this into the beginning of the video. Wolverine is a character that you either build all the way or you don't build at all. And that's the reality of the character. So just when you're approaching Wolverine, that was really good. When you're approaching Wolverine as a character that you want a tier 3, or if you've already tier 3'd him and you want to invest in him, just know that you have to go all the way, or don't bother. This is a really good performance here. But yeah, just I want to be very clear, and I want to repeat myself. You have to go all the way with your Wolverine build, or don't bother building him at all, because he's not the type of character. That was really good. He's not the type of character that is going to be able to perform well for you with a half-assed build. So I think that's something I need to say explicitly more often, because it's basically what I am trying to say with a lot of these characters that we've reviewed lately, is that they're good, but they're just not going to shine until you give them, you know, 2, 3, 4 portions of your resources, right? You can't just give them a bowl of cereal and wish them on their way. No, you're gonna have to make sure that they get their orange juice, their toast. See, you're gonna have to make sure that they get all the nutrients that they need before they leave the house. Otherwise, they're not gonna start their day off right. That's basically who Wolverine is in Marvel Future Fight. That's who he has been, by the way, for a few years now, which is something that I've had to live through. About 3 years now of Wolverine being semi-mediocre. The thing is, he's not mediocre, but he's also not. He hasn't really been meta since 2017, since he came out. He was meta for like almost a year when he came out, but since then that has changed. So here we go. I think honestly it's hit or miss at the moment with this build. For those of you wondering what you should do if you wanted to crank up your Wolverine PvP build, there's 2 huge things you can do. Obviously, the first one is to give him a CTP. The CTP that I recommend would obviously either be Regen or Authority. Now, Regen is obviously hugely synergistic with Wolverine because of the fact that he has a lot of HP and he has a lot of healing, and the Regen CTP gives you HP and it increases your healing by giving you more recovery rate. So that's great. The problem with Regen is that you still get guard broken and there's no damage reduction, even on the Mighty and the Brilliant Regens. With the new Authority, with the new Mighty and Brilliant Authority, you do get damage reduction if you roll the Steel unique ability rather than the all defense, all attack, all defense. And they actually took away Wolverine's 40% damage reduction, or 30 or 40% damage reduction. And as you can see, he heals for a lot, but he also takes a lot of damage. So his HP really yo-yos a lot throughout the battle. He also takes a lot of reflect damage from Silver Surfer because of the lingering fire effect that he creates here. But I do think that Authority, I do think that not a regular Authority, but I think a Mighty, yeah, see, a lot of reflect damage. I do think that a Mighty or a Brilliant Authority could be, and probably would be very, very good for Wolverine because of the damage reduction, but you have to roll the damage reduction, that Steel effect. So those are my suggestions for you. If you're on a budget, I would say Regen. If you have the more expensive CTPs and you have the reforging capabilities, I would say a Mighty or a Brilliant Authority is probably best. Let me just do a little sneak peek here to see if there are any notable PvP gods. Not that I can see. Sorry if I missed your name. But yeah, those are my suggestions for you for his CTP, either Regen or like a Mighty Brilliant Authority. My other suggestion would be the artifact. So I'm going to just talk about this briefly before we end the video here because it's going kind of long. But Wolverine was one of the first 10 or 11 characters to get their artifact. Not every character has an artifact. And Wolverine's artifact, I actually have one here for you. It gives him the null passive effect. So what does that mean? Well, you can see when his HP is below 5%, it's going to stop him from dying. He basically becomes immortal. In this case, he becomes immortal with the 3-star version. He becomes immortal for 4 seconds. After those 4 seconds are up, he's going to heal an additional 10% of his HP. Plus, he's going to heal a little bit more based on your total instinct that you have, all your instinct collected together and then multiplied by 0.5%. That's really cool. If you're able to snag through the shop, if you're able to snag the 6-star version of Wolverine's artifact, and you can see it here, the 6-star version is going to give him the invincibility, the immortality for 7 seconds. So it's almost double the amount of time. And it's also going to trigger when he's below 5%. And it's going to heal him at the end of the 7 seconds. It's going to heal him for 50%. So you can see those numbers do scale up pretty dramatically from a 3-star version of this Immortal Warrior artifact to the 6-star version. So I do suspect in the back of my mind that the devs balanced Wolverine to include that, like they balanced him with the artifact in mind. So I would say that, you know, without the artifact, he's probably still not going to compete with the top 5 of PvP, but maybe with the artifact, especially the 6-star version of the artifact, he can compete with the top 5 you know, PvP characters with the, you know, with a maxed out build. So like I said, it basically comes down to, if you're going to build Wolverine, you have to go all the way, or don't even bother, because it's not worth it. Now, for those of you who are upset thinking, oh man, now I gotta go and grind for this artifact for Wolverine, like this is some pay to win BS, or this is that, or this is whatever, maybe, but think about it this way: if they made Wolverine good enough to compete with the top 5 without the artifact, and then you slapped on the 4 to 7 seconds of immortality, he could possibly break the game, right? So on the one hand, I'm not too happy about it either. It does give me a chase item, and we'll talk about chase items in a separate video. It does give me a chase item to look forward to. You know, maybe in a month, 2 months, 6 months, I finally pulled this 6-star artifact for Wolverine, and it's free for me to pull. I don't have to spend money. And then I'll be like, oh dang, now I can try Wolverine in PvP. So it does give me something long-term to look forward to, but for now, Wolverine, I think, is going back up on the shelf for me. I'll do some testing with CTPs, and if I see something dramatically good, or if he's somehow better than Captain America for ABX, I'll cover him in a future video. But for now, I don't rate this uniform that highly, unfortunately. And as much as I like it, and as cool as he looks, and as dope as the animations are, I think this ends up being a miss for the general player base. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.